Hi, guys. Welcome to the recap show. Today's movie recap will cover a 2009 horror thriller movie named Forget Me Not. Sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy. The movie begins by showing a scared girl screaming and running through a graveyard. She manages to make it home, and when her parents ask her what happened, she replies with, I don't remember. Years later, a young lady, Sandy, is seen puffing a cigarette in her room. She quickly throws the cigarette away when she hears her brother, Eli, knocking on the door. Elsewhere, Sandy's boyfriend Jake and her sister Lex are having a discussion about their adult life. Lex says Sandy's parents will never allow someone like Jake to marry their daughter, but Jake thinks otherwise. Up next, two of Sandy's friends, Chad and Hannah. Seconds after they're done, Chad sees his girlfriend, Layla, coming and quickly sends Hannah away. Now at Jake's house, TJ arrives to inform his friends about the graduation party he's planning at his house. Jake's father, Sheriff Mitchell, tells the teen to keep the party on a low, and the teens concur. Moments later, Sandy is seen having dinner with her family. At dinner, they discuss what Sandy has planned for the future after graduation, and Sandy says she's planning to be a medical doctor. Later that night, the group is seen having a fun time at Jake's house. They engage in chugging competitions, swimming, and everything to make the night more fun. After the party, Sandy and her friends sit down to tell stories about their past. Each member shares the first wild thing they did. Sandy then narrates that the first time she was so pumped was the night the group went to a graveyard to play a fun game together. Upon hearing this, the group decides to visit the graveyard and play the game again. Upon getting to the graveyard, the group decides to play a game of tag. Just then, a girl appears from behind and says she would like to join them. The group accepts and Eli volunteers to be the ghost. The group begins to sing the rhymes that signal the start of the game. Upon finishing the rhymes, the group disperses into the yard and each waits for Eli to find them. One by one, Eli fishes them out except for the new girl. Sandy sees the new girl running away and she follows her to inform her that she's won. The girl stops at a cliff and asks if Sandy remembers her. Sandy says no, and the girl replies, You will, before jumping off the cliff. Sandy informs the rest of the group and they inform the police. The police arrive and conduct a search, but there were no traces of the girl or her body. The group decides to call it a night and leave the police to do their job. A flashback scene then shows a young Sandy playing the game of tag with another girl her age. The duo then sit to talk. The girl tells Sandy that the flower in her hair is called Forget Me Not. She explains that the flower is placed on graves so they can remember the dead. Sandy quietly says she doesn't know any dead people, and the girl says, I do. The girl then gives the flower to Sandy and calls Sandy her best friend. Now in the present day, Chad and Layla are seen waking up in Chad's car after a tiresome night. Layla tries to hug Chad, but he breaks up with her instead. Angrily, Layla throws her necklace into the river. Chad enters the car, drives off, and leaves Layla on her own. After Chad's departure, Layla enters the river to search for the necklace. While doing so, Layla sees a girl in the middle of the river. She approaches her, but the girl dives into the river. Layla starts swimming out, but is soon attacked by a demonic version of the girl. Layla fights with all her strength, but the demonic girl drowns her. Elsewhere, Hannah is seen in Sandy's room. Sandy brings up a discussion about Layla, but Hannah doesn't seem to remember who Layla is. It is also revealed at the scene that Hannah has eyes for Eli. Later on, TJ is seen in his workplace collecting a ring from his boss. He intends to propose to Lex with the ring. Now at Sandy's house, the group is preparing for a journey to the mountain. Chad comes over with another girl, Cecilia, and Sandy couldn't believe her eyes. Sandy mentions Layla, but none of the group remembers her. Back at TJ's workplace, he smokes before checking the equipment. While doing so, he spots movement, but attributes it to the smoke's side effects. He soon realizes that he is wrong when a ghost appears to him and pushes his head into a machine. Soon afterward, the group is ready to go, and Sandy asks about TJ, but no one seems to know who he is either. Sandy tries to call him, but realizes that his contact has been erased on her phone. On their way to the mountain, the group engages in a race, but Jake wins with the help of his motorbike. Another flashback scene shows young Sandy and the girl having an argument about who should play the game with them. Now in the present day, the group arrives at a grocery store, but doesn't have any money to spend. Lex then says she will distract the attendant, so the rest can steal snacks and other supplies. While making out with the attendant, Sandy is furious at Lex for cheating on TJ, but no one knows who TJ is, and they all believe Sandy is going cuckoo. Up next, Chad is seen on his way to meet up with his friends. Suddenly, he sees someone run across the road. He stops and tries to investigate. While investigating, he receives a call from Jake. He tells Jake that he is on his way, but the ghosts soon find their way into his car and force him into an accident, which terminates him. Shortly afterward, the group leaves the grocery store and continues their journey. Inside the car, Sandy berates Lex for making out with someone else besides TJ. The rest of the group is trying to make sense of what Sandy is saying when they drive past a car drunk. Sandy tells Jake to stop the car when she recognizes Chad's car amongst the damaged cars. She tries to remind them who owns the car, but no one does except her. She then tells the group to follow her to TJ's house, but to her utmost surprise, the house is vacant and desolate. Sandy enters the house to investigate, but Lex and Hannah stay inside the car. While inside TJ's house, Sandy begins to remember the girl from the graveyard as her childhood friend. Moments later, Lex and Hannah have a petty fight, and Hannah angrily leaves Lex alone in the car. Hannah soon rendezvous with Sandy and the rest. Suddenly, they hear Lex screaming and everyone starts running towards her voice. Lex runs into the woods to hide from the ghost haunting her. While running, she falls into a hole, and the ghosts start burying her alive. Sandy got there to witness Lex dying, but she couldn't stop it. She watches on as the ghosts bury Lex alive. Just then, Sandy tries digging the hole with her hand. As she does so, Jake and the rest arrive. She tells them that Lex is buried in the hole, but no one remembers Lex also. Sandy, Eli, Jake, and Hannah then visit the police station together. Sheriff Mitchell then informs the group that the girl Sandy claims she saw is Angela Smith. Mitchell says Angela lives in the convent. Just then, Sandy says they need to check out the convent, but Hannah says Sandy is going out of her mind. However, Jake assures Sandy that the group will visit the convent the next day, and Sandy agrees. Soon afterward, the group decides to spend the night in a motel. Hannah puts some sleeping pills into Sandy's drink so she can rest. Once Sandy is asleep, Hannah invites Eli to join her at the pool, and he agrees. Upon getting to the pool, Hannah confesses that she has always loved Eli, and the duo ends up. Minutes later, Sandy is suffering from a seizure, and Jake tries to hold her down. Eli also arrives and helps Jake out. However, Hannah is attacked by the ghosts on her way to the hotel room. She is forced into the power room where she's finished off with electricity. Just then, Sandy wakes up and everything looks like a nightmare to her. She asks after Eli, and Jake says Eli is at home. Seconds later, Eli calls Sandy and she begs Eli to meet her at the convent. Upon getting to the convent, Sandy and Jake are welcomed by Sister Dolores. Sandy asks about Angela, and Dolores informs her that Angela is in a hospital because she's in a state of comatose. Sister Dolores offers to show Sandy Angela's room, and she accepts. However, Jake can't follow Sandy to the girls' wing, so he stays behind. While going through Angela's room, Sandy finds some weird pictures drawn by Angela. The pictures depict the face of a demon, and Sister Dolores is surprised to see them as well. Meanwhile, Jake finds his way into the convent's hall, where he is attacked and terminated by the ghosts. Sandy looked on from outside the hall, but couldn't do anything. After Jake has been terminated, Sandy runs into Eli. Sandy tries to explain everything to Eli, but he too doesn't remember Jake. However, Eli tries to make sense of everything. The duo soon discover that their friends are being erased from time, just like the rhyme they usually sing before playing tag in the graveyard. In order to stop the killings, Sandy realizes that Angela must die. Moments later, Sandy and Eli arrive home, but Sandy's parents believe she's going crazy. Sandy is sedated and then taken to the same hospital where Angela is. At the hospital, the ghosts appear and terminate Eli also. After Eli's death, Sandy asks of Eli from her parents, but they don't have any memory of him. Shortly afterward, Sandy dreams of a time when they were young. Sandy and her friends play a scary ghost prank on Angela, causing her to have a seizure after hitting her head in front of the convent. Sister Dolores comes out and screams, "Who did this?" The imagery ties to the beginning of the movie where Sandy is running through the graveyard. It is then revealed that Angela has been in a coma since then. Sandy wakes up and decides that it is time to end everything. Sandy goes to Angela's room and says she's sorry for what she did to her, but everything needs to end immediately. Sandy then turns off Angela's life support. Just as she's about to leave the room, she hears the EKG beeping. Sandy turns back and discovers Angela sitting on the bed. Immediately, the ghosts start chasing her, and Sandy manages to reach the roof. On the roof, a young version of Angela approaches her. Sandy then tries to reason with Angela. Angela hands Sandy a bouquet of the forget-me-not flowers. Angela looks with a demonic expression and asks Sandy, "Best friends forever, right?" Out of fear, Sandy falls from the room and the scene cuts to black. The movie comes to an end showing that Angela has awoken from her coma, while Sandy has now replaced her in a coma of her own. Thanks for watching, guys! Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to receive future recaps.